Hi everyone. I wanted to show you the easiest way to create a mileage log for your tax purposes. You may also use this method in order to create a mileage log for business reimbursement or other purposes for tracking the mileage that you're putting on your vehicle for business purposes. You may have looked through some other videos and seen that there's a number of ways to accomplish creating a mileage log. So for instance, you can keep it on a spreadsheet, or you can keep it manually in a notebook or some other sort of calendar or what have you. Well, there's an easier way than walking through and trying to do this manually. And it requires using an online system that we created for this very purpose, and it's called ExpressMileage. Let's take a quick peek at what it can do and how it can help you to get the tax deduction that you need for your business. Start creating mileage log immediately upon logging into ExpressMileage. And what's going to happen here is we're going to be asked, how many miles are we using our business? Do we use our vehicle this year or last year for business purposes? So first and foremost, let's check that we're using mileage instead of kilometers. For the folks up north in Canada who use our system often, they can select the kilometers, or anywhere else in the globe that needs mileage logs created. You can use that. So we'll go ahead and enter our mileage log totals here. So for last year, I utilized my vehicle approximately 12,932. I'm going to leave this personal mileage. Well, we'll just round it. We'll just round it off here to 5,000. Okay, so we did 5,000 miles for personal on that vehicle and 12,932 miles last year, which is the year that I want to create my mileage log for. And so we're going to enter that information, and that's what the system's going to utilize in order to generate a mileage log for us. I'm going to pick my dates. So the start date I need is for January 2022, okay? So we're going to make a log for the entire year of January. So we're going to say January 1st, 2022. It'll automatically pick the end of the year as December 31st, 2022. Those are great. Now we'll move on and we'll create a vehicle. So let's just go ahead and say I'm driving my Audi A4 and it is a 2019, okay? A little information about your vehicle. We've added that vehicle. Now let's tell the system where that mileage started for the year. So the odometer reading for that Audi A4, it was 63,124 miles. So I'm going to enter that information. You can also, kind of work backwards. So if you've already, that year's already passed, go ahead and subtract the miles that you're trying to create, enter in that information, we'll work from there, okay? Now, we've got the odometer for the beginning of the year. It's going to automatically calculate and populate and build that mileage log and increase those odometer readings throughout the year when it creates a log. But before we create a log, let's do one or two other things here. First of all, we're going to tell the system what days we didn't work. Okay, I don't work on Saturdays or Sundays or use my vehicle for Saturdays and Sundays for weekends. I'm going to enter that information here. And then I'm also going to pick a couple days throughout the year that I took vacation or whatnot, right? And I'm going to block those off. So what this is doing is creating blackout dates that you did not drive your vehicle for business use. So you'll still get personal use on those dates, but no business will be there. We always tend to use the randomize option here. There's a couple different ways we can create a log. Randomize does a great job of creating that log that is the most representative or realistic of your driving. Repeating is if you're really sticking to the exact same route every single day. Most of us do not do that, so I'm going to just stick with randomize, which works for about 98% of our folks that are using our system. Now, we do need to say what the purposes of our driving are. So in this case, I'm working back and forth between hospitals. I'm going to go for business. I have to drive to and from the hospitals. I also have personal driving, and then there's a commute here as well that gets me to my office. And those don't count for business, but they do add mileage to my vehicle. So I'm going to do that driving to from hospital. So really pretty simple. I drive a lot to and from a couple different hospitals all over the country, or all over my state, I should say, and then personal driving. So we're going to keep this pretty simple. But if we wanted to add others, so if we were going to do business, and these are errands, and supplies, we can add that as well and check it so we are ready to create a mileage log using all of these drive types. Okay, now I am going to say I live in Santa Barbara, California. I'm going to enter that information and all of them, because we just added the new errands and supplies. Driving to and from hospital, that is on average one way, it's about 16 miles. My personal driving, on average, I do about a 12-mile one-way distance. Commuting to and from work takes me about 4 miles to my office. And then errand supplies, these vary, but I'm going to put those at more like 20 miles. Weekly intervals, so I'm doing these 6 times per week, each one of them, and I can increase or decrease, right? I can make them monthly, daily, or weekly. So this is basically going to log that I did during the week 6 drives back and forth between hospitals, 6 different personal driving events that were around 12, and it will randomize those as well for us. So, and then as well, we've got the errands and supplies. That happens once a week, and it's about 20 miles. So if I wanted to say daily, I drive to and from a couple times back and forth between multiple hospitals. I'm going to modify that. I'm going to say 3 times a day, 4 times a day. How about I drive to and from hospitals for my work. Now, you'll notice at the bottom here, I've got total business numbers. This is how much I've set up for the system to be able to generate for both business and personal. I noticed that this personal is low, so I'm going to need to increase that. My commuting or my personal driving, I'm going to have to do it. We'll watch that number climb. I need to get that close to 5,000 total, so that's pretty good. And then my business is over the number that I initially indicated. So I think we're all set. We've entered in the frequency and the location of these drives. And if I wanted to, I could just say Central California instead for the errands and supplies. Okay, next. Looks like I'm going to go over the amount of targeted mileage. So the system wants to generate 17,000 miles. My target miles is actually only about 13,000 or 12,932. So do you want to trim it? Yes, I do. So I want to just try to hit that number and get it really close to that 12,000 number that we're looking at. The system now is going through, building a calendar and creating that custom driving log that's going to be used for showing my driving history for my vehicle. Give it a couple seconds here. It went out and created exactly what I needed, okay? It's got 12,000 miles, 12,930 for business, 6,000 for personal, and then there's some commuting going on back and forth there. And now I can say view calendar, and I'll see a coded calendar that gives me all the details about what was done on those days. The red days are high mileage days. You'll see it's created the log entries for those days. Those personal commutes to and from my office every morning at the beginning and end of the day, and then all of those business and personals intermixed, all different numbers here for the mileage close to those numbers we defined. Miles V is the value. So if we take the miles, dollars per mile rate, and we use that number and multiply it, so currently it's set at 0.575, so 57.5 cents per mile. If I wanted to change that, I can do that here in this rates and units area, and I can view what those look like. So actually, if I'm doing 2022, it's 58.5 per mile, okay? So I'm going to change this to 58.5, submit that, and now when I go through and download my log, I can first preview it if I want, and it will show me all this great information, all of the drives for my log, which has 1,800 different driving entries. And if I download my log, I can do that in Excel format or PDF format, okay? So if I do it, and I could grab that in either format. If I say PDF, it's gonna save that log to my computer, and now I can view it. It's showing me my totals here, total drives, business, personal. Here's the 80 or 58.5 cents per mile. So that gives me a business deduction for last year of $7,564, and that is fantastic. So we've created a log that is 1,800 entries, over 1,800 entries, 97 pages long. Okay, the entire year documented, and we did that in about 5 minutes. So that is, in a nutshell, how ExpressMileage can help you create the mileage log that you need. And I hope you give it a shot. It's free to try. Unless you want to download it, you get the perfect log that's going to work for your business. You don't have to pay anything. Just sign on, check it out, build a log, preview it, see if it works for you. We help thousands and thousands of folks build mileage logs for tax and business reimbursement purposes, and we know we can help you too. So give it a try and let us know what you think. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.